G'day guys and gal. Everyone is equal, some are just more equal than others. The same rings true for the Primarchs. In theory, each Primarch was made with the same potential and capacity for greatness. The Emperor didn't wank extra hard into one tube compared to another. As far as I'm aware, I wasn't there when he did it. However, theory rarely matches reality, as we can clearly see that no, the Primarchs are not all equal in power, magnificence, and potential. Put Lorgar and Vulcan in a boxing ring and watch that uppity little priest get some BBC. However, above all of his brothers, even the Lion and Horus stand Sanguinius, a near-perfect being with unbreakable will, infinite tenacity, and an extremely impressive body count. By the Siege of Terra, he was a league above the rest of his brothers, only Horus matching him, and that was because Horus had received 500 tons of warp tren injected straight into his scrotum. Before we get started, Christmas is nearly here, and now is the time to buy gifts for yourself or friends and family. So why not get them some Major Kill Christmas merch? I've been brainstorming this drop for months, and I couldn't be happier with how it's come out. First, we have the Major Kill Desk Pad, a large, high-quality pad that will make you smile whenever you lift your keyboard up. Then there is the Major Kill Dice, a 20-pack for all your tabletop hobbyist needs out there. Then, the Magnum Opus, the Major Kill Christmas Bundle, which comes with stubby holders, stickers, a protein shaker, a Major Kill stocking, and this iconic Christmas hat, which it's so good. Imagine just putting this on your dad's head and not telling him what it says, as the whole family loses their shit. Unlike pretty much any other YouTuber merch you'll buy this Christmas, I haven't put some stupidly high price tag on these. You are paying around half of the dice as you would from GW, the desk pad is on the cheaper side despite the quality and size, whilst the profit margins on the bundle are pretty bad because I insisted on spending extra to get the hat professionally embroidered. It's more about me sharing something with you guys that I think is pretty funny. This drop is now live and the stock is limited, so get it now and you'll have it in time for Chrissy. Today we'll go over the might of Sanguinius, focusing more so on his highlights and feats of power rather than just retelling his lore. I'll also do my best to explain why he's a league above his brothers, since he theoretically should be equal to them. Final note, you like the thumbnail artwork? I had that commissioned by my favorite Warhammer artist just for this video. It shows off arguably Sanguinius' most badass moment from the lore. Artist has asked to remain anonymous, but that doesn't mean we can't enjoy it ourselves. Let's get into it. There are two things I want to address before we delve into Sangi's in-lore highlights. The first is the people who dislike Sanguinius because they see him as this infallible Mary Sue, who is able to beat everyone and do everything and everyone loves him. And I get that if you don't know shit about the actual lore. Sure, on the surface, Sanguinius was a universally admired warrior who always seemed to have the best takes and be perfect. But the dude had serious anger management issues, to a point where Khorne actually wanted Sanguinius over Angron. His legion also had the Red Thirst, which meant that his sons really wanted to rip open their allies and enemies alike and drink their blood and eat their flesh. Sanguinius was one of the only Primarchs, alongside Magnus, that had to murder his own sons due to their gene flaw. He was also deeply insecure about his soul and morals. He wanted to be good, but felt a darkness within him. He actually despised his wings at times, as he saw them as signs of mutation and corruption. So him being perfect and trying his best was his attempt at overcoming an inner darkness that threatened to turn him into an avatar of death and destruction. A very nuanced, flawed character when you go deeper than face value. The second thing I want to address is why Sanguinius ended up being so powerful compared to his brothers. All the Primarchs had obscene potential, some just never reached it as they fought against their own nature. Corvus Corax embraced his inner power and can now shapeshift into a demonic raven demigod monster that was able to easily kick the living shit out of a demon prince Lorgar. Guilliman totally embraced his commanding and logistical skills, allowing him to run and greatly improve the Imperium, doing the job of 5 Primarchs at once during his Indomitus crusade. Other Primarchs, like Angron, had their purpose twisted and were not able to grow. All the Primarchs who became demons have lost their ability to reach their full potential, instead side-grading to become a pretty one-dimensional raid boss. Sanguinius completely and utterly embraced what he was during the Siege of Terra. No more doubt, no more restraint, no more insecurity. He became the angel of death he was born to be, using his foresight, flight, and unleashed power to become a god of war, literally saving the loyalist forces almost single-handedly. honestly. His embrace of this power is why he ascended beyond his brothers. Another reason, which is a bit more on the theory side of things, is that instead of the Emperor putting one warp god into Sanguinius, like he did with the other Primarchs, he actually put in two, both the Angel of Light and Darkness. It's heavily implied that the Emperor created the Primarchs by taking minor gods from the warp and putting them into these vessels he had created. This would explain why the Primarchs are so diverse and volatile. After all, wouldn't the Emperor want to make 20 Guillimans or Rogals if he could? It's already confirmed that the gods of Baal that are tied directly to the Blood Angels are two angels locked in combat. This perfectly mirrors Sanguinius, who had his light and darkness fighting for dominance over him. Perhaps having these two gods within him is what elevated him above his monogod brothers, although the side effects include the intense gene flaws within his sons. That's just a theory, but a pretty fucking good one if you ask me. Okay, so now we have some context as to why he was a league above the rest. Let's look at some of the bonkers shit our glorious Hawkboy did. I'll try get these in order, but fuck it. Shit is so hyped that I'll be slapping down whatever hits my brain first. Sanguinius was a beast during the Great Crusade. Constant victories, zero losses, his ability to fly straight into the heart of the enemy and wreck some tits was OP as hell. However, it was during the Horus Heresy that Sanguinius rose above his brothers. First was during the Battle of Cygnus Prime, where the now bold jihadist Chaos Horus sent Sanguinius to a demon world to die. Horus did this as he was scared to face Sanguinius and his Blood Angels in battle, so he wanted to get them wiped out in a demonic ambush. On that planet, Sanguinius fought and lost the Kabunda, widely considered to be the greatest demon of Khorne. However, after walking off a broken leg, Sanguinius came back for round 2, fucked Kabunda's shit up, then proceeded to beat a greater demon of Slaanesh to death as well, because you know, why not? It's not just demons that Sanguinius has clapped. Sanguinius once face downed an Eldar Warlock Titan, the most powerful Eldar Titan there is, and he ripped its fucking head off with his bare hands. The Titan was able to shoot Sanguinius with a Titan Psychic Lance, a shot that is basically a guaranteed one-hit kill on anything. Sanguinius just kind of walked it off. Not to stop there, one of Sanguinius' most badass scenes is him preparing to jump out of a ship to 1v1 an Emperor-class Titan, the largest and greatest Titan in the galaxy. His first captain is like, "Holy fuck dad, no, you are only worth like 500 points at most. The Emperor-class Titan would be 10,000 points plus." And Sanguinius looked his son in the eye and said, "Hold my fucking beer," before jumping out of the ship and literally 1v1ing an Emperor-class Titan. As he did so, it said his size grew to encompass the heavens. The traders saw him as an avatar of their death and destruction. All who looked upon him instantly regretted their life decisions and accepted that today is likely the day that they would die. It was very badass. The reason why Sanguinius happily took on a Titan that theoretically should dumpster him, after all a mere Warhound Titan nearly killed both Lorgar and Angron, is because of his foresight. He knew he wasn't going to die that day, so it didn't matter how much danger he put himself in. He was like Neo from the Matrix, beginning to believe. You know how I said that Sanguinius had some serious anger management issues? Well, no other instance shows this off quite like Sanguinius' fight against the legendary demon Madiel, a demon of chaos undivided, which is already very rare. This demon had been able to hold off Guilliman and the Lion. Madiel had also killed billions, twisted Sanguinius' thoughts and emotions, and lured Sanguinius into a trap. Surrounded by demons, pinned down, and with no hope, Sanguinius cracked the mother of all shits. He went full berserker mode from Goblin Slayer, literally gaining glowing red eyes and setting himself on holy fire. Even just powering up destroyed most of the demons around him, before he then jumped on Madiel's ass and beat the shit out of the Demon Lord. This was arguably the strongest demon in the entire heresy, and our boy went to fucking town. The thing about Sanguinius is due to his inner darkness and insecurity, he was actually really vulnerable to corruption, almost falling to Chaos in Cygnus Prime as Chaos exploited his desire to save his sons from their own gene flaws. Time and time again, they would show him false visions, empty promises, and all kinds of mindfuck. Instead of becoming more doubtful and insecure, Sanguinius learned from these and continually grew from each attack on his soul. Honestly, if the demons had never tried to corrupt Sanguinius, he wouldn't have become this absolute juggernaut. Pressure makes diamonds, and Sanguinius is the chief example of this. Having torn his way across the galaxy and reaching Terra in time for its defense, Sanguinius' most legendary moments would become immortalized in the annals of history. See, he hadn't really fought against his traitor Primarch brothers much during the heresy. They avoided him like the plague, with even Conrad not wanting to fight him when they encountered each other. He had kicked massive amounts of Titan and demonic ass, but the real test comes from Primarch vs Primarch battles. During the Siege of Terra, as the palace's defenses forces began to crumble, Sanguinius flew to and stood in front of the Eternity Gate, the last line of defense before the traitors would reach the Emperor sitting on his golden throne and win the heresy. Against all odds, Sanguinius stood at that gate and held his fucking ground. Millions of demons, traitor Astartes, and heretics charged, and millions died. Kabunda, the legendary greater demon who had beaten Sanguinius before, charged forth, and Sanguinius massacred him. Then mere moments later, like an unholy comet that destroyed the dinosaurs, Angron soared from the sky, screaming his challenge to Sanguinius. Sanguinius met his demonic brother in combat, and the two were locked in a fight to the death. At this point, Angron was so juiced up on power that he was considered the greatest asset the traitor legions had. His kill count was in the millions. He was also unkillable, literally regenerating from any wound. He even got shot by 1,000,000 rockets at once and was completely atomized, only to quickly regenerate from it. So as the brothers fought, every mortal blow that Sanguinius landed would heal. Heart shots, headshots, nothing was working. All the while, Sanguinius was being wounded and worn down, not recovering fast enough. Eventually, Sanguinius was like, "No more Mr. Nice Guy," and he allowed Angron to impale him with his sword, bringing Sanguinius close enough to rip Angron's fucking butcher's nails out, momentarily making Angron lucid and sane, before the agony kicked in and the demon was banished back to hell. A wounded but very victorious Sanguinius limped on, having just back-to-back beaten two of Chaos's greatest champions. Sanguinius' next fight would be his last. Wounded, exhausted, with damaged gear, he would face down a fresh, heavily empowered Horus, who according to current lore would go on to kill the angel. There is, however, a fan theory which I love, that says that in reality, Sanguinius would fall to the Black Rage while fighting Horus, triggering his own sons to do so as well. This would result in Sanguinius killing Horus and then mortally wounding the reluctant Emperor, who did not want to kill Sangi. Realizing that if the Black Rage Sanguinius was seen by the Imperium as the one who dealt the Emperor his mortal blow, this would destroy the Imperium. Hence, the Emperor kills Sanguinius, then obliterates Horus's soul so that the Chaos Gods wouldn't know the truth of what happened. This fills in a number of plot holes, such as why the Emperor let the obviously super evil Horus beat the shit out of him. It also adds a tragic, unexpected twist, while at the same time cementing Sanguinius' place as the most powerful Primarch to ever live. We haven't gotten to the final Siege of Terra book yet, which will detail the fight between Sanguinius and Horus, so until we get it, all we can do is circle jerk over how much of a beast Sanguinius is. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then buy the Majorkill Christmas merch. You won't regret it. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more beastly content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.